Hello, hello. Welcome to what could potentially be the final Dev Diaries episode of Bishop Chapter. What a ride, eh? We are exactly where we left off from the previous video. Again, it's been about not 10 seconds this time. I've had maybe a 15-minute break, but yeah, we're straight back in, and I've got two more puzzles. Well, one more puzzle, but the two parts of it to show you and how that works. If you have watched the series up until now and you're up to date with every episode, then you've already seen my breakdown of Khonsu and the King Ring. So this will be fresh in your mind, and you can relate all the stuff to it. So here we go. Right, let's start with the King Ring, shall we? So we've got where is it? It is here. King Ring. Open blueprint as to cool. Right. Wow, yeah, it's a lot simpler than I expected. You just pick it up and you got it. Of course, this isn't the final King Ring. We need the upgraded one, which is in here. So, it's so dark. I have to try and catch it. There it is. Do you see it there? No. 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 There it is. No. It's very annoying. I'm gonna have to search this in the thing. Come on. Come on. There we go. I got it. Right. Let us jump straight to this blueprint. Cool. So this is the slot that you put the ring into when the Aten generator is powered up. To power it up, you obviously complete Aten. To get into the Aten building, you need to find the key. To get the key, you need to complete Noon. And to get the King Ring, you need to complete Thoth. So it's all very sequential to get to this point. I ensure that you need to complete at least 60% of the game unaided by the upgraded King Ring before you can get the King Ring. And then if you happen to get it at this point, cool, but likelihood is you're just going to do the other puzzles first. This is more of a second playthrough sort of thing, where when you know it exists, you can plan your playthrough accordingly to make some of the puzzles a little easier and a bit more fun. So, when you interact with the slot, is Aten complete? AKA, is the generator powered up? And do you have the King Ring, the one you find in the Thoth secret room? If both of these are true, then we do this once. We set the King Ring to visible. So right now it's like there inside the machine, and it's invisible, so it can't be picked up. We do King Ring slide. It's not a dance, it's just the animation of the ring sliding down from there into this little box that you pick it up from. When you have a torch, you can actually see it really well, but right now you can't attach a torch to the viewport of the editor. And then it's the old classic sequence player string of play, delay, and pause. The pause is there so the ring doesn't reset the animation and teleport back inside. It stays there. It's paused on that frame of the animation. And then when you pick that up, let's have a look. Where is it? King Ring upgraded. Right, there's a bit more meat to this one, not much though. So when you pick it up, King Ring upgrade is collected and the player can smoke port. If you've seen episode 14 of the series, then you've seen the smoke porting in action. And on the event tick, we've got, is the king ring visible? If it is, then it's visible, and if it's not, then it's not visible. It's very self-explanatory. Great. And when you pick that up, you can smoke port. And there is some nice code for that in here. Right, so I've put it into the project settings. Where the devil are they? Here, project settings. Hello. Right, great. Yeah, input. So, left mouse button is mouse interact, P is pause game, I is inventory. Right, so we got K for smoke port, and right mouse button is place beacon. And yeah, so they're ingrained into the control system. So they have their own little events that you can summon. So when both are pressed, if you either smoke port or place a beacon, the first thing it does is check if you've got the king ring upgrade. If you do not, then pressing these does absolutely nothing. If you press smoke port and you've got the king ring upgrade, then it runs the smoke port. If you place the beacon and you've got the king ring upgrade, then it runs a function called place beacon. And after 2.5 seconds, it runs the thing. So yeah, sorry, you hold it for 2.5 seconds, it runs the function, and then it sets the timer back to 0 so that you can just run it again when you let go. So let's do the beacon first. So when you place the beacon, is the beacon already placed? If it is, oh no, let's do not first because we skipped some code. So if it's not, we set the beacon to placed. And then we get the current world transform of the capsule component, which is the player character. So this thing. So we get the current location in the world, but only the transform. And we spawn the beacon, which is the purple glowing pyramid, at this location. Then I define it as the beacon reference, and we also play that metallic sound that you hear. And then this also plugs into, if the beacon's already placed, we get this reference and we change the world transform of it, and we spawn it there again. And then we play a different sound. Oh no, wait, you play the same sound. Sorry, it's a different sound for smoke port. And then you get the beacon moved notification, a little delay, and then it goes. I haven't shown you this HUD stuff yet. I'll have to show you that. And then, yeah, of course, when it's placed for the first time, you get the place notification rather than the moved notification. When you smoke port, can you smoke port? And is there a beacon placed? If both of these are true, obviously you don't want to smoke port without a beacon because that just resets you to the default 0, position of the world. So that's not ideal. So, can you smoke port? Is there a beacon already placed? If that's true, then it stops you from being able to smoke port for a second because I don't want you to spam K and just keep like playing that sound. But essentially it sets the world location of the player character to the world location of the beacon. So it literally just gets where the beacon is and it sets that as your new location. Then it plays a different sound, the Boom Earth Core Ripper, delay, and then you can smoke port again once that's run. Nice and simple stuff. That's the king ring. Let me show you some of the widgets. Tell you what, we'll go through them all. We'll go through them all. Let's do HUD. Because I don't think I've shown any of these. HUD is very simple. Key instructions, king ring instructions. I'm having trouble saying that. Key instructions fade. So you've seen these. They come up, they fade, then they fade away. Lovely. King ring instructions, they fade in, they fade out. HUD fly out. That's beginning of the game, so you don't see the animation. I think I talked about that before, how you have to reverse the animations at like lightning speed, so you don't see them when you start the game. Right. Oh, mama. Okay, right. Let's start scratching the surface here. Pre-construct, I am playing the animations in reverse and casting to the player as I usually do. On the event tick, camera on, right, cool. Okay, ignore this. I did this for the cinematic trailer. This code didn't work, so we are going to just not have that in there. We're just, going to disconnect that entirely. We don't want that. Okay, so we are running off. Oh, never mind. We need the event tick there. Right, we're running off the event tick, and it's playing this huge sequence, and all of this determines the text that shows up in the top right corner here, when it shows up, and how long it shows up for. And it's basically a big list of all the different messages that it can display in the game. It's bishop collected, knight collected, rook collected, pawn collected, and of course I've got to do these for each of the different chess pieces. Unfortunately, you can't just run a single pawn string for each of the pawns, because of the way I've got it set up. It's all a do once, and when it's reset, it messes up the ones below it. I did try to run it before and it didn't work. Key instructions fade. So when after the opening credits are played, or when they started playing, oh no, that's after they played. So it says my name, then it says the title, and then it displays the key instructions, which is the press P to pause, press I for inventory. What else have we got? Got a little gap here. Comic pages, collectibles. Got the torch collected one. We got all the different trophies. So we got Anubis, Aten, Benben, Medjid, Noon, Thoth. Those are all there. King ring collected, king ring upgrade collected. Got the messages for those. Locker 2 key, so it's the key found, and the beacon placed, beacon moved. Then right at the end, we've got, are all these documents being inspected? And if they are, we are setting the visibility of the reticle in the HUD to not show, because it's very annoying. Cool. So all of these are defining variables within the HUD blueprint for the purpose of the getText function. So this essentially is where you define what it says in that corner when things are interacted with or collected. This is where I've written all the trophy collected, torch collected, press F to toggle. When a door is locked and you interact with it, it says locked. Beacon placed, beacon moved, king ring upgraded. And then if nothing is being input into it, then the text it's going to display is this blank one here, which is 99% of the time. Cool. That's the HUD. The inspection widget is very simple. It's just an exit button. But Oh, I've shown the Tower of Chaos. Never mind. We'll skip this one. I showed this one in the Anubis episode of this blueprint series. End credits is simple. It's just a massive image of the credits that scrolls. Yeah, nice and easy. Credits roll, fade out. I've not shown the credits on here yet. That's something that if you want to see, you have to play the game. Alternatively, wait for the video of me playing the full playthrough. Great. Inventory. I think I've shown this way back when, and I've not done anything to it since. It's just hovering over things and displaying the icons. Main menu I've shown. Opening credits I've shown. Pause menu. Yeah, you know what? It's all of this rings a bell. I've shown all this. I haven't shown the feedback form. That's new. This is very easy. Show feedback form. Remove from parent. On exit button clicked. Remove from parent. Cool. That's not important. That's like a new form from the main menu. I'll show you that quickly actually. We'll go into the main menu level. This one. Yeah, save. And then great. It's down here. Click that. It loads. You can see a little loading thing there. Loading page. The music's probably quite loud. I have the desktop audio quite high. And there you go. It's just a quick free survey. Exit. Yeah, nice and simple. That's in. I followed a YouTube tutorial to put that in. That's not my code. The video that I followed is on the resource playlist. Right. Okay. We've done King Ring. We've been through the HUD. Now let's go through the consoles and the Khonsu puzzle. So, first things first, let's look at the console. Right. Of course, event begin play, I cast to the player character, because you need a player character reference for the way I've set everything up inside the player blueprint. So when you interact with the console, it's very simple. Checks if the player has the statue, and if they do, it sets it to visible, and then they no longer have the statue, but the statue is placed. And we've got the console here, and each of the statues is there, but invisible. It's the same old setup that I use for the Medjed console as well. Now we've got this, which has a blueprint all on its own, because of this mess. I need to tidy this pretty badly. Oh god. Right. Cooldown active. If that is false, then we run the sequence. And the cooldown is defined at the end of all these strings. So here, 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 and here. And it just ensures the players can't input this string loads and loads of times in a row. It takes a bit of delaying to let the animations run, to let the sound effects play, stuff like that. Okay, so if the cooldown is not active, then we will run it. We'll freeze play for 2 seconds for the player, and then we will check on this branch Is Anubis placed? Is Noon placed? Is Thoth placed? And is Khonsu not already complete? And if all of these are true, then it will continue running the string. So the first thing it does is it spawns the ticking sound. So we set the cooldown active, get the ticking. It says animation, but it's just a sound effect layered over an animation. That plays, we delay it 15 seconds because it's 15 seconds long. Then we pause it and set the cooldown back. And there's also an event tick here, which doesn't actually work, I've noticed, because in my playthrough of it, I was very aware that the ticking continued after both gates were unlocked. Yeah, that's weird. So this doesn't actually work. It's not doing anything. Right. So as well as the ticking, the next thing we do is we check, is the Khonsu window open? So when one of the levers is pulled, the Khonsu window is set to open, and all that means is the 15-second ticker. For the duration that that's ticking, the window is open, and when it finishes ticking, the window closes. And if during that window the opposite side console, if that lever is pulled, then that's what communicates in order to open the doors. So we're checking here, is the window open? If it is open, is the other gate unlocked? So this is the lever for the right gate we're looking at. So we're talking about the left gate, so the opposite side. Is the window open? Is the gate unlocked? If it is, completing puzzle. So we set Khonsu complete. We animate the slider, the lever, because in all instances the lever still has to be physically pulled. Set the cooldown active, we delay, we get rid of it. So there'll be a whole string of code for the gates now that runs off this. This is where this is defined, Khonsu complete, and we'll catch up with what this is doing shortly. So, is Khonsu window not open and the lever's been pulled? Then it runs this. We set the Khonsu window to open. And that starts the ticking. And then we set this gate to be unlocked. We also have to animate the slider. Then we set the 15-second duration, and then we close the window, and we say that the gate is not unlocked anymore. Is the window open? True. Yes. Is the left gate unlocked? Let's say no. Pulling lever with less than 3 statues, or when just been pulled. So this also runs off if you don't have the statues, and all that does is pulls the slider, sets the cooldown, and nothing else. So it just animates the slider or the lever. And that's also what happens if the window's open but the gate is not unlocked on the other side. Cool. So that's all of those different possibilities when pulling this lever, which is what this entire setup's about, you know, addressing all the different factors that could go into it and what to do in each scenario. You'll find that the code for the other lever from the opposite side is identical to this, except instead of gate left unlocked, it's gate right unlocked, and you know, all the obvious stuff. And then also it has the other names of the statues. Cool. So I can't remember if I put the code in the left door or the right door. Let's go right door. Yes. Was there that little code? Yeah, look, I've disconnected this one. Okay, right. So there's an event tick on the door when Khonsu is complete. So this is where we catch back up with that variable that was defined before. So when that's complete, we do this once. We run the gate opening animation, delay by 22 seconds, then we pause it. The reason it's so long is because of the animation setup, which I will show you right now. Khonsu gate right. Okay. So there's basically a sound in this one as well. And you'll be able to hear that. You know, I'll just play it. Cool. So that was about 22 seconds long. And yeah, it plays a lot of sound before the gate opens, and that's mainly, it's kind of to create the idea that the gates are big and heavy and it takes a lot of cranking to open them. And another reason is that I want to give players time to jump down and get in position so that when the gates open they can see the big glowing orb that appears outside. I've done my best to hide the sun when the player gets down there so that it looks like it could be the sun, but it's actually just a giant orb that's kind of just floating here. Oops, you're seeing behind the scenes a little bit here. But all that matters is down here. I've got lots of invisible walls going up along here to stop the player from exploring. And then there's a trigger box here then, which is invisible for some reason. But when the player crosses through it, it starts a fade out sequence and the game fades to black while the credits roll. Again, you'll see that in my playthrough of the game. And that about covers it, I think. I'm just going to have a quick scout around to see if there's anything that I might have missed. Why is it not showing any of the icons? I've done something, I'm not sure where it is. Because my options at the top are gone, and the particle handles are gone also, and the light icon is gone. I'll have to figure out what I've done. Maybe I've pressed some weird shortcut I didn't know existed. Huh. No idea. I'll have to figure it out. Nope. Anyway, it's not important. Yeah, I think actually I have covered everything. We've got a bit of time to mess around. Actually, have I covered the gears? Let's look at the gear. Oh, it's very easy. It's a constant rotation like I did with the Ben platforms. Just checks. Got an event tick checking if Khonsu is complete, which is defined by both the doors being unlocked, and then it starts rotating the gears. I've noticed this one rotates the wrong way though. Anyway, yeah, let's have a look. What have we got? So there's an area down here that you might have seen. This was planned to be, so when you collect all the comic pages, I thought it'd be cool if there was a little building you could find where you could, there's some kind of pedestal or a stone or something, and there's a mini game where you had to arrange the comic pages into an order that made sense narratively, and that when you did that, you would unlock some cool stuff, IRL, relating to the comic, such as early access to it, or a link to something else that's not currently released. I don't know, just some cool stuff, but I didn't have time to implement it. But the idea was that you could get down there by loosening one of the gates. So there's going to be maybe here, a ladder or something, and one of these gates would be slightly damaged, maybe like the corners bent, and there's going to be a padlock on it, and there's some chains to show that someone's tried to fix it. And you could find the key to the padlock in the map somewhere, and when you unlocked it, you could push the fence open, and you could come down into this area and access the building. That would have been cool if I had time to do that. I also wanted cables running from the disk, so I was going to join at each of these points. There's going to be a cable running out, and they were going to go to each of the, if you remember the projectors in the Aten building, so there's going to be one running down to this one running down to the Anubis room, one running down to where the console is in here. Basically anywhere there's one of these consoles for the Aten puzzle, there's going to be a cable connecting to it. Not the console itself, so the cable would run across to like some sort of array up here. And yeah, that would have been cool, because Aten, the sun disk deity, is always depicted as a circle with loads of arms coming out of it, with little hands on the end, and I wanted to mirror that by having them be electrical cables instead, and that would have tied into how I'm merging the themes of kind of industrial technology and ancient Egypt, as well as American suburbia. There's no suburban elements in that idea, but it very much does merge Egypt and crude technology, much like how the pipes do with Noon. So, you know, with like the Ogdoad being 4 pairs of 8 deities, and the deity or deities Noon and Noonet being attributed to the sky and the water, and then all of it culminating in kind of like a pipe puzzle where you choose one of the two out of the pair. I don't know, just little things like that. I tried to work in some ideas where I could. A lot of the stuff I thought of in the shower at various times. I do a lot of thinking in the shower. What else? What other little random tidbits can I tell you? Just having a little scout around, really. Oh yeah, around here I never liked how this turned out. It's kind of like a rock in the middle of the wall, and this drain. Where are we? Yeah, there we are. I did want a little extra area out here when the lake was drained. I wanted it to be possible for you to go down into this area, into this cavern, and then there'd be a gap in the bars underneath where the water level was, and you'd be able to walk through. And there'd be stuff out here, maybe like I don't know, like a chess piece or something, but maybe a little area. And they were meant to be trees just everywhere, just a massive forest all the way around the map. I started putting some in outside here, so you can see I've lined the main path over there with them, and I've also put some down here, and I was going to duplicate these, so create a massive cluster, duplicate them, and just spam it everywhere all over the map, because that was my initial thing, was that this facility was deep in the woods where no one knew it existed. But I just didn't have time. I just didn't get around to it in the end, and if I had, there would have been a nice little continuation of this enchanted forest kind of feeling in an area that you could explore outside the walls there. It would have been walled off individually as well, like with the comic page building, but I just never got around to it. See, I was going to build stuff down here. Just didn't happen. There's a few upstairs areas that I never got around to fixing. So you can see there's space for some stairs here, and you could have come out on the roof. And then there's another room with a little balcony area, which could have been pretty neat to explore. Likewise up here, you could have traversed these buildings. I was going to put another route down here. I don't know what this building was going to be, but you could have walked on top of it, and I like the idea of having it be locked at ground level, and you could only get to it from the roof. So there's going to be a little greenhouse area up here as well. You can see I opened it so that people could go in. I need double-sided planes in there though. Yeah, so that was going to have a little canopy area here to show that it was open, and you could go in, and there's going to be plants and some cool stuff, and maybe even a chess piece or a comic page, who knows. Just all these things I didn't have time to do. I wanted to populate this massive open area with construction stuff, like, not construction, more like loading stuff, like vans, crates. This area of the Aten building is, it's a warehouse, and I wanted the downstairs of it to be full of just stuff. That's kind of my main issue with the game at the moment, is that all of the clues are so obvious because it's the only thing in the game. Everything basically that's in the game is there because it's needed for the main mechanics. Everything else I wanted to put in would have been, an afterthought, would have been just populating the world. And I think if there was more stuff in the game, so if all these walls are lined with kind of workbenches and various posters, tools, maybe if this is like a sort of mechanics garage, some cars suspended up in the air, maybe if I had stuff like that everywhere, then the game would be a lot more rewarding when you do actually find things. For example, the Thoth Puzzle, when you have to piece together the referencing system clues. It's so easy to do at the moment because all the clues are on like every document in the game. So the back of this has a clue, the back of this has a clue, there's a post-it note out here that has a clue, there's a key that opens this locker, and inside the locker is another clue, so that's already half of the puzzle solved just from that one building. And it's only because it's the only thing to do at the moment in the game. So it would be cool if I'd had more time, or if I continue to develop this game, I would definitely fill it with just pointless random assets. Over here I was going to have shipping containers and like a little garden area, maybe like a hedge maze or a park, or I don't know, something just completely irrelevant to any puzzles, just there, just because. Then obviously all the buildings would be explorable. There'd be an upstairs area to this house. This would be another house. Another house. This front area would be a lot more populated. You'd have vehicles. I wanted to build some watchtowers. In the end, I just settled for putting these massive lights on top of the what are these called? I don't know what they're called. These things. But yeah, Shoulda, coulda, woulda, eh? Well, I mean, it's not. I just didn't have time. It was too ambitious. It's not that I failed in any way. I'm not saying that. It's just things that I would have liked to have had time to do. So anyway, this has been Bishop Chapter. This has been the Dev Diaries development series of Bishop Chapter. 17 videos, a good few hours of content, 5 months of development, a finished game, test build to show for it. Yeah, it's been successful, I'd say. It's been a good time. I've enjoyed it. I got really stuck in to the idea a couple months ago, and I've just been non-stop working on it ever since. You couldn't really at any point have pulled me away from it. I just wanted to do it. It's all I was thinking about when I wasn't working on it. Sounds kind of sad, but like that's just how these things go, and that's how games are made. You know, there's no casual game devs who ever make anything substantial. This isn't a project I could have done if I hadn't dedicated the hours that I have into it. But I think it's time to call it a day. I think that's the end of Bishop Chapter, which is fine. I mean, in my last project, the 2D platformer, I really enjoyed making that, and I wanted to develop that further after it was submitted for the deadline, because that was another uni project. But then I just never went back to it, and I didn't want to, and I don't want to. And I think that's how I'm going to feel about Bishop Chapter as well. Not because I dislike it or anything like that. I just think it represents a period of time in my life, and there is a date that it had to be finished, and I've known that date. That date is tomorrow. And yeah, that was just in my head, just the date it would end, that I would stop working on it, and so I worked on it as much as I could up until then. And I think that's just how I work. I've got my comic series. I've neglected that for a long time because of this project, and I can't wait to get back to it. In that case, I'll be working without a deadline, which I cannot wait to do because that's how I prefer it. So yeah, thank you very much for coming along in this journey, and if you've watched all these videos and if you've watched this far into this video, then I greatly appreciate you. Chances are you're someone who's been following from the beginning, in which case I advise you to download the game and play it, because you may or may not see your name in the credits as a special thanks for the support. If your PC cannot run the game, then just wait for my playthrough of it, which will come maybe next week, and I'll show you the credits then, and maybe you'll see yourself. I've put quite a few people in there, just those who kind of constantly support the project, even if they didn't say anything or comment, the people who are consistently liking my posts, and you know, when they didn't have to. Yeah, I counted as support. It definitely drove me forward. This went from a personal project I was just gonna document on the ether into something that I was engaging with my followers through. I posted a lot to my story. I spoke to a few people, strangers who just messaged me telling me they like the look of the game. And yeah, that's been an interesting side of this project for sure. Yeah, I'm not sure what else there is to say. If you like my work, if you like my ideas, the way I approach stuff, then there's plenty more of my stuff out there for you to check out. I've got a personal Instagram as well at Dincorta, Dincorta. If you follow me, I'll approve it. It's only private because I like to see who's looking at my stuff. I'd rather people follow me than be anonymous. And yeah, I've got a lot of stuff out there, mostly comics, but a lot of it is set within this Meridian 6 world. So you might find something else that you like there. And I also have a blog, dincorta.wordpress.com, and a year or two ago I did a massive post on some of the game jam projects that I've made, so you can even check out some other games that I've been a part of and play those. Those games are much smaller than this, so they'd be less physically taxing on your PC if you've had trouble at all running Bishop Chapter. But yeah, those are my parting words. Thank you all very much, and I'll give you a heads up if I work on another game anytime soon, and you could check that out. So yeah, that's Bishop Chapter. I'm signing off for the final time. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.